Alright, hello, hello, hello. Microphone should be working now. Alright, there we go. Alright. Oh, Jesus. Missed a few lap times, haven't I? Gee. Well, let's go on board with JPKP now. Oh, he's actually hasn't validated lap time. It's very annoying for him. Going on to his final lap now with just 40 seconds left in qualifying. In the sprint qualifying. Brilliant and nice and smooth through turn 1 and 2. Who else is on a lap? I think Motu Solver is also on a lap. No, he's invalidated. Min Castro is invalidated. Poole is on a lap. He's gone a tenth quicker. He could lead him to getting that P3 start. He's gone 3 tenths quicker. Purple sector 2 from Poole. Could he get that second position away from his teammate Motu Silva? Full bidding now. I think that's No, that's not Mogan Renato. Who's that driver in front? I think that's the Alpine of Phantom Fox. As Wheeze goes in front. Yeah, that's yeah. Phantom Fox giving him the toe as Poole is sprinting, full burning across the line now. Will he get that P2? Yes, he will. 4 tenths quicker, a 108.9. Absolutely brilliant lap from him. JPKP now coming onto that final straight. Coming onto that final straight now. Full burn into the DRS. He's really using every little drop he has. Now into this right left hander. He's got to be very careful not to invalidate. Nice and smooth. Using every little bit of DRS. 6%, 5%, 3. Right to the line, uses it all and only gets P6. JPKP will definitely be annoyed at himself with that P6. He was hoping for at least a P5. That's not what he wants to see. As Willow now, other championship, one of the championship contenders is P12. As Kizzy also doesn't improve. Willow, who is tied for the championship right now, is not doing very well. Only P12. As Epic the Animal, the other person he's tied with, is all the way up in P7. Mint Kestrel, Mine Master, was all the way up into a 109.6, a tenth quicker than B29. This has been definitely a qualifying you would not expect, as everybody's most probably on a wet setup due to this being a fully wet sprint. Oh. Let's have a look at this time now. Our top 5 is Seb, Poole, Motu Silva, Mint Kestrel, and Wheeze. They are definitely happy with their times as B29, Varga, Kizzy, and Paul Finn have all decided to save their pair of softs that they get in sprint qualifying, as Samad and Gagli were not able to set a lap time in. Now, you probably are curious as to why we only have 19 drivers on the grid today. That's because Ima D, the 4-time TFR champion, has got a race ban for his incidents at Kota. He is going to hope that some of his championship rivals will not do well today, as that will give him a good, easy way for him to catch up in these next few races throughout Monaco, Baku, and Silverstone. As now the drivers are setting their fuels, deciding their tyres, and getting their setups, finalising their setups now just before the start of the lights. As we only see Mint Kestrel is the only person who's guaranteed on Inters right now. Everybody else is looking like confident on the wets. I don't know if that's the play, but let's see how they do. Because Mint Kestrel will definitely be taking a risk. As Phantom Fox is also going into Inters now. They both will definitely be risking and hoping that dry line appears soon during the race, because if not, they will not be doing well, as they will lose a lot of positions, especially on the start, due to that lack of grip. There's also Epic the Animal, one of the championship contenders, Mine Master as well. They've all going on to Winters. Wes was thinking about it, but sticked on the wets as Poole. Second place, Motu Solver. Everybody's now starting to switch to the Inters. They are thinking it's the better tyres. But personally, I would just have to disagree, as we are now going to 5 red lights. 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's lights out, and away we go for the TFR Round 5 Canadian Grand Prix. As said, it's a very nice car. As Varga goes up. Oh. Bit of lag there, Varga. Oh, Phantom Fox. Oh no, we have got the leaderboard glitch. This is not very good. It says Seb is in third, which is definitely not what it sees. As Wes gets past Bull. JVKP looking for the move past Wes. Weez does get off track now. Definitely not good. As now Mint Kestrel tries to make a look behind. As there is contact to the back. They're going 4 wide into turn 1. That's not going to work. Hypergo's being shoved off track. Wes being also shoved off track, still being shoved by CJ. CJ getting the better exit, being able to put his power down. Kizzy, everybody's now finding their own pace. As JVKP shoves off Mint Kestrel. Now JVKP's new teammate, the only as I'm going to call him, is being towel contact with Mint Kestrel. As the only now going to try and send it down the inside of his teammate. Very nice play between these VCOP teammates. Very slow on these corner exits. Will JVKP have that better exit? I think he does, pulling ahead of his teammate. That is very nice as Gagley is making it past this. Kizzy is also trying to make the move past CJ, but CJ is able to keep his position. This is brilliant. It's a brilliant way to start this sprint race. As the only, has got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, taking advantage. As now his teammate JVKP is the only hits the wall. That's not going to be good on his tyres. As it's 2 wide in turn 1 from the racing for the V-Carbs now. As he hits his teammate. As now he gets spun even more. Mint Kestrel makes contact with the V-Carb. Break up the tyres. He's now dropped down to P19. As the OGC is getting very annoyed right now. Just try taking out Paul Fern. As no one will see, as Seb has pulled a 1.8 second gap. As the OGC is off track again. This is not what he wanted to see from his debut. Going through the grid now as Mindmaster is trying to get moved on. CJ gets the double overtake on Mindmaster and Mint Kestrel. It's absolutely brilliant from CJ. He's definitely picked that right. Definitely done a good idea of picking those wet compound tires, especially in the start. They'll have a massive advantage. As Mint Kestrel and Mindmaster go 2 wide now. Mindmaster's been forced off the track. Still 2 wide. Still 2 wide. Mint Kestrel does get the power down earlier. Gets the grip and is able to get the move done. Mindmaster still looking for him. Sorry, Mint Kestrel looks on the inside of CJ. Really deep. CJ's able to hold position. Hopefully he can get the better exits. There are so many drivers behind him. Mint Kestrel really trying to get that power down early. As Gagley, Mindmaster's fallen all the way down to P14 from that hairpin. CJ now not really going defensive, thinking he will not need to defend going into this corner. As Mint Kestrel is looking for moves. Try sending it down the inside. That's going to be a warning for both the Aston Martin and the Mercedes drivers. They've both just taken all 4 wheels off track. As Gagley does get the better exit on Kizzy. As the LGC gets a 10-second penalty, I think, yeah, he has retired. That start was not good enough for him, and he thinks that, and he's completely ruined his race. Willie now going from all the way down to P17. This is not what he wants to see as one of the people who's challenging for the championship. Definitely not good as Seb is pulling a monstrous gap against Motu Silva. Seb is trying to keep back that dominance he had at the start of the season, and this is looking very good for him. Pool, as JVKP is now trying to make a move on Pool. Is Mint Kestrel, Gagley makes a move past Mint Kestrel. Hyper Ghost, as Mindmaster's been spun off track. Mindmaster off track, that's not what he wants to see. JVKP now coming into the hairpin, trying to make a move on Pool. Pool is the highest positioned into driver. JVKP has shoved off track. I think that's damage to JVKP. No damage to JVKP. He's got very lucky there, but he will not have very kind words to say about Pool now. As now he is definitely going to be trying to catch back up to him. As Gagley and Mint Kestrel are going side by side out the hairpin to make a bit of contact. Gagley almost spins out because of Mint Kestrel. As Motu Silva gets a 3 seconds. Motu Silva a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. That's not what he wants to see. Seb again, another fastest lap. Seb is being very, very quick here. Is looking for the move past Motu Silva. He thinks he's a quicker driver, and instead of trying to stay behind and keep his position where he knows he can be guaranteed that P2, he's going to try and make the move past and hopefully try and catch up to Seb. Going through the rest drivers out turn 1 now is Hyper Ghost trying to make that move past Kizzy down the inside. Coming into turn 3 now. One of them's going to have to back off. You never want to see him go too wide. Kizzy backs off. Hyper Ghost gets the exit. Oh, he hits the wall though. Kizzy might have a run. Is he still maybe trying to have a look? No, he's not. Backed off now. Full now. We don't know if he'll try and make a move later as what. Mindmaster, the lowest driver on Inters, is not looking very confident here. And a very nice qualifying, but he's already down to P18. This is not what he wants to see. for any actions going on. These Hypos and Kizzy are still battling now, coming into the hairpin. See if they can get the move done. Hypos is forcing Kizzy to try and go around the outside. Kizzy goes for the switchback. Hypos parks it on the apex. That's probably what he could do. The best he could do. Hypos getting the exit now. Full power down. Overtake burning. A Seb again. Jeez. Fastest lap after fast laps. Absolutely brilliant. Kizzy is now not looking to try and get the move past. As Willow is trying to look for that move past. Hypos is a 3-second time penalty. That's not what he wants to see. The kick Salva driver making those few mistakes, which leads to that 3-second time penalty. JVKP already now in DRS range of Pool after being, you could say, shoved off track, or they've just made contact going into the hairpin. He's going to try and be looking for that move back through to catch up into the top 3. Like I said, Pool is the highest driver on Inters. He's hoping that dry line will appear soon, but it's said that the dry line will appear around lap 7 or 8, which means if JVKP wants to make the move done, he's got to make a move soon while his wets have the advantage. As Mindmaster makes the move past Paul Fern. Paul Fern, another new addition to TFR, TFR F1, has not been having the best debut for Haas. This is definitely not what he wanted to have, but let's hope he can carry on his race and at least hopefully maybe he can try and get a few points for his team. You can see JVKP now within 3/10 of Pool as Samad gets past Kizzy at the hairpin. Samad is looking at Hypercoast now, maybe trying to make a move past. It's going back to JVKP, coming into turn 1 now. It's within 2/10 of him. You can see how much slower those inters are at the moment, but now you can see on the track the dry line is starting to form. JVK is going to want to look for a move pass now. Coming into turns 3 and 4, got to take it nice and smooth as Wes also makes it past Kizzy. It's a Williams versus Williams right now. As Kizzy looks for that move, as CJ gets a 3 seconds. The Aston Martin driver who had such a good start to this race is now gotten a 3-second penalty as Gagley looks for the move down the inside, goes a bit deep, makes contact with CJ, but is able to get the move done, and not much done by it. As Samad hits the wall as Wes gets past him. Samad going down the inside now, a bit of contact, Wes loses his rear there, as now Kizzy, his teammate, gets right back past him. This is a massive battle for P14 right now. Wes trying to make the move back. I think, no, Kizzy was full burning, Wes just had the grip over his teammate. As now they are back to where they were earlier. If we go to the front of JVKP now coming down the long straight, is looking for that move, now coming into the final chicane. Diving now, he's looking for the inside, less than a 10 separating them. He backs out and is hoping to try and get Pool in the exit. That's a very, very bad chicane from JVKP. Now already 6/10 now the gap. That was Pool is really defending for his life, trying to keep this P4 himself. For himself. This definitely doesn't want to see Varga, another new addition to TFR, as Wes gets a 3 seconds. As I see, Kizzy's also in the pits. He must have. Oh, he's retired. I don't know what that's for. As Paul Fern also gets a 3 second. The Haas driver already not having the best of his debut. Just going to make it a bit worse with that 3 seconds. As Seb has now pulled almost a 6-second gap to Motu Silva. The Red Bull driver has been doing brilliant since his comeback, ever since his PS5 broke. It's been absolutely brilliant from him. As Weez is still trying to make, I don't think he's trying to make the look past Motu Silva anymore. If you look at his ERS, he's got so much more. But he's saving it all. I think he's just trying to stay within that 3-second gap, so he can have that P2 guaranteed. As JVKP is going to be looking to get that nice exit against Pool. Nice and early on the throttle, putting the power down, lots of wheel spin. As JVKP's on the gap 4/10 as Wes goes on the wet line, just trying to cool down those wet tyres. JVKP 3/10 going into chicane. He's going to want a really good exit, but he's messed it up there, trying not to get a warning for track limits. That's not what he wants to see. Varga now within 6/10 of B29. As JVKP goes fastest. This is definitely showing his pace now, as he's done the fastest lap of the 121.2. He's definitely been a very good start. JVKP, he has been complaining throughout the season about him being taken out, and the one time he isn't, he's showing his pace, being 5th right now of all of TFR eSports F1. As he loses the rear air, smacks the wall. He's all good though, as he's still trying to make that move past Pool, as Wes gets that double on Hyperghost and Samad. They are both not going to be very willing to give that position away, as Hyperghost touches the grass and he loses his rear. That's going to leave Samad to get through, as Gagley now gets a 3-second time penalty, trying to pressure his teammate Phantom Fox. He's taken the track limits a bit too far, and it's now got that 3 seconds. But if you look behind, he's already pulled a 2-second gap to CJ, as he's now being pressured by Mint Kestrel. The Mercedes driver had a very nice start to his qualifying, but as everybody finished their lap, you could see that his pace with these wet set was not as good enough compared to his competitors. Gagley now within 5/10 of his teammate. Phantom still trying to gain on intermediate tyres to Varga. This is definitely... Varga is still trying to press B29. B29 is holding his own, full bending that ERS. He's just trying to keep his P7 alive. JVKP is now dropped back to almost a second behind Pool, as Pool now goes fastest. Pool is showing those intermediate tyres that naturally do now have the pace. JVKP is still trying to keep with them and just barely keeping within that second gap. DRS would be very helpful here, as all the drivers would be thinking. Mint Castrol is now within half a tenth, so CJ loses the rear going into turn 1. Turn 2 now taking very different lines. Mint Castrol getting not the best of an exit, letting CJ pull that about 5/10 back to his competitor, as that's a brilliant turn 3 and 4 for Mint Castrol. Now close the gap. Will he try and make a look down into the hairpin? CJ defends it. Mint Castrol almost makes contact with CJ. I would have spun him around, but I think Mint Castrol's gonna be waiting for this straight now. Full burning. CJ losing the rear on exit. CJ not planning to defend at all. So he thinks Mint Castrol will not make a move. He doesn't. We go to the front now. Seb already on the back straight. Seb has been dominating this entire sprint. Let's see if he can take this pace over into the races. CJ and Mint Castrol are battling now, going into the hairpin. CJ getting the better exit. Seb goes to the gets the faster lap. Maybe he's trying to show that wets aren't the quickest tire. The inters aren't the quickest tire, and the wets actually are quicker than those inters. Poor Mint Castrol got no ERS to try and pressure CJ. So he gets a brilliant hairpin, and CJ gets another 3-second time penalty. CJ on 6 seconds with the time penalties right now, as he catches his guard on the grass, and Mint Castrol is looking for that inside. Goes back under, looks for the move, locks his brakes, is able to get the car stop before making contact with CJ. Varga now within 5/10 of the B29, coming to his right left-hander. He's going to be trying to apply that pressure and hopefully make that move done. B29 makes a bit of contact with the wall as he loses his rear, as he has definitely got a lot less ERS to the drivers behind him. He's definitely wanting to hold his position. That P7 is still some good points, even in this sprint format. As JVKB has closed the gap from a second to now about 7 to 5/10. He's going to want to hopefully put the pressure on Pool, as Pool's looking down the inside of Weeze. Gets almost perfectly judges it, parks it as Weeze makes a bit of contact with him. Weeze may get the exit, no, he loses the rear. Pool's going to get the exit, he puts the power down, and it's Pool up into P3, and now within a second of his teammate Motu Solver, which will put him into P2 if the race was to finish right now. It's out of the hairpin. Mint Kestrel gets a much better exit has a much better entry, gets a lot worse exit. Hyperghost loses to My Master in the loses to My Master in the hairpin, as My Master parks it on the hairpin, which leads to Hyperghost not getting any moves done, as Phantom Fox now gets a 3-second. These Alpine drivers will now be battling hopefully for position, because that P10 is the last point scoring spot in the sprint format, as Varga is all up the diffusers, as Phantom Fox makes a bit of contact with Varga's rear. Varga maybe looking to make a move within that 10th now, slides to back up, going into 3 and 4. B29 has a brilliant exit as Phantom Fox loses his rear there, so does Gagley. These Alpine drivers are really starting to pressure the Red Bull and the Aston Martin in front. As we go back to this front four battling for P2, Weeze and JVKP are looking to fall off the pace, as Pool is shown as the definitely the right pick for Pool, as he's now looking to make a move past his teammate Motu Silva. But the question, as Motu Silva loses the rear there, is Mint Kestrel and CJ going neck and neck. Mint Kestrel makes the move past CJ. CJ will not be very fond of letting that go, but because those instances are so superior, I do not think a move will be done as Gagley gets down the inside of Phantom Fox, trying to put that power down. Lots of wheel spin as Phantom Fox concedes the position. JVKP gets a 3-second time penalty. That is not what the Canadian driver wanted to see in his race today. There's about a 3-second gap between Epic and the Animal, but the problem is he's on those intermediate tyres. They are right now so much quicker than those wets. So on this final lap now, he will hopefully be able to, JVKP will hopefully try and make that 3-second gap. As Gagley Phantom Fox now, as Gagley makes the move past Phantom Fox down the inside into turn 1, now pressuring Varga. Varga losing his race, who was dropped back from that B29, pretty much. So is Gagley. Gagley's also backed off now from Varga, trying not to make contact with the Red Bull driver. This has been a very, very exciting sprint race, as Phantom Fox is just watching, knowing that even no matter where he finishes, as long as he's behind his teammate Gagley, he will be finishing P10 with that 3-second time penalty he has. Go to the front now. If we look, the times between Epic down on JVKP, there's a 2-second gap now. Unless JVKP can pull that 1 second on this final straight going into the final chicane, there will not be. JVKP will be finishing P6 in this wet sprint quality. As you see Seb rounding the final chicane now, coming to cross the line P1, setting the fastest lap as well. It's absolutely brilliant as Motu Solver now crosses the chicane. Full burning ZRS will finish on track P2, but that will be P4 overall as Epic the Animal overtakes JVKP on the line. B29 coming down the straight will have that P7. Gagley, Gagley and Phantom Fox, who both got the move past Varga, will finish ahead on track, but Varga will get that P8 as Mint Kestrel now finishes ahead of CJ, as CJ falls behind Samad, as Mindmaster 10 seconds behind CJ will keep position. The final three will keep position, as Phantom Fox actually drops behind Mint Kestrel with I can't see the pens. With I think about 6 seconds worth of penalties, which means Mint Kestrel will get that final point scoring spot in this sprint format, as the final Haas driver is now rounded and crossed the finish line to end it onto the race qualifying. That was definitely a very eventful sprint race, as we now head on to a dry short qualifying. Luckily enough for these F1 drivers, that was the only bit of wet racing they will be doing for the remainder of this round. As now Q1 has started, let's see how much this top 5 will change compared to the dry setup, compared to preparation for sprint quality, for the wet sprint. Oh my days. Can't speak. Now, we'll have telemetry enabled for this. Actually, no. As Mint Kestrel is on those intermediate tyres, does he have a quali ban, or is he messing around? As Hyperghost is the first driver out on track. I think that is followed by Samad. No, it's followed by Paul Fern. The Kick Sauber and the Haas driver, the first two out on the track. It still says Mint Kestrel. Mint Kestrel is going out on the intermediate tyres. I wonder what Castrol is thinking of going out on these intermediate tyres today. It's definitely not the smartest place. It's going to be a fully dry qualifying. I wonder what this Mercedes driver is thinking. You can already hear that wheel spin as he leaves the pits and puts that throttle down. As Castrol must be going for a bit of a lap. There is no way he's going to set a lap on those intermediate tyres. As Samad has also gone out on is also prepared the intermediate tyres. As Wes is now out on his lap, but instead of warming his tyres, looks like he's full pushing. I don't think that's the way you warm up your tyres. That will just bring more wear to them. As we also have the other Kickstarter of Wheeze out on his lap now. Also, we have Kizzy, the Williams drivers who retired during the sprint. As he's going to be hoping that his race will be a lot better than his sprint race. As Samad actually comes out of the pits on inters, just like Mint Kestrel. Mint Kestrel is doing a lap. That is very surprising. Mint Kestrel doing a lap on those intermediate tyres. He must be going for a bit of a lap just to pass by the time. As both Haas drivers are right out in front of each other. Samad on those intermediate tyres, he just behind his teammate Paul Fern, who is on a lap. Ooh, it hits the wall there. Paul Fern hits the wall there, and he hopes to do better than his last race. Whereas Hyperghost is also on a lap now. He's actually invalidated. Hyperghost invalidated his lap. That means the only two people on a lap now are Wes and Paul Fern. Wes with a nice clean turn 3 and 4. Coming in to the long left and right handers with a 19.4 as his first sector. Absolutely riding the curb there, getting the best exit he can. Full power, using that overtake ERS. Burning completely nice, nearly on the brakes. Turns it in, perfect. Just coming before the hairpin now. Is there a yellow flag? I think that is for Wheeze. No, that is for Hyperghost. Trying not to get in the way of his opposition. As we now watch Wes, who leads the hairpin, going a purple sector 2. Not surprising, as he's one of 2 drivers on a lap right now. As Paul Finn invalidated his lap, and now Wes will be taking provisional pole, as he will be the only person to set a valid lap time right now. Mint Kestrel does a 12.9. I forgot about him on the intermediate. Definitely it's a bit of fun, as Wes does a 109.3. That's a very nice starting lap. And that is only 4/10 away from the F2 pole. Can you believe that? Somebody's banker lap is almost as quick as the F2 pole time. That is definitely something a bit crazy. And Samad is invalidated his lap. Kizzy invalidated his lap. Hyperghost again invalidated his lap. Wheeze invalidated his lap. Paul Fern, everybody who is on a lap, as Mint Kestrel has left. Mint Kestrel must have disconnected, as there is no way he has just left midway through. Do we have any more drivers out? We've got B29. We've got Varga starting his lap now. We're going to stay on him for a little bit, going into the first 2 corners. Nice and calm. Getting that power down. Coming in to turns 3 and 4 now. Nice and smooth, not trying to invalidate. It's absolutely perfect. Mint Kestrel does get back into the lobby. Luckily enough for him, so his only lap will not be on this intermediate. Varga goes purple sector 1. Nice and smooth through that left right hander. Coming down onto the second, going down to the second straight, trying to get a bit of that bit of that slipstream from JVKP. Coming now down into the hairpin, Varga. Let's see the difference between his and Wes's banker laps. Nice and smooth into the hairpin, taking all the curb he can. That's very different compared to some other drivers. Full power now, burning all of that ERS. As Epic the Animal goes 0.1 tenths quicker than Wes. Those bank laps are definitely ones they will be very happy of, but they must be wanting to improve on them in the final minutes of quali. As Wheeze does a 109.4, as Varga across the line to do across the line P2, only 0.003 tenths away from Epic the Animal's bank lap. These are some brilliant laps and some very close racing from these drivers. As I'm actually going to... Actually, no. bank. As CJ and Kizzy also set their bank laps of Kizzy's being a 110.0 and CJ's being a 110.1. These are definitely some bank laps that we wanted to improve on. His B29 since won a lap. Now the other Aston Martin driver who's coming now into that final chicane, who's burned all of his ERS. Nice and smooth, putting that power down in 5th gear. Coming across the line now, will be turn 9. It'll be P5 with a 109.5. That is 6/10 quicker compared to his other Aston Martin teammate CJ. There is a yellow flag as maybe one of the drivers impeded. We go to JVKP, who's invalidated his lap. Mindmaster, who's on a lap now. Purple sector 1 from Mindmaster. The Ferrari driver, in absence of his teammate D, who has a race ban, will be looking to carry the points as he's not burning ERS. Mindmaster must not be on a lap. He's not doing 2 out laps for himself. As there is unless I have some visual glitch, there is, yep. He is not full burning. He is just doing a lap as he goes purple sector 2. There must be some sort of ERS thing. There's no way he's just gone 2 purple sectors in a row. Have a look at his speed on this straight. What speed does he hit? Yeah, that's definitely no ERS from my math. So those sectors must be wrong, and there is no chance he's gone purple with no ERS. Is he full bin? Now actually starting his lap, going down all the way down to 70%. As that lap, actually sets him into P8. Only 4/10 quicker than Mint Kestrel's lap on those intermediates. He's also started his lap time now. The driver who is bottom of the people who set a lap so far will be looking to improve. Nice and smooth through turns 3 and 4. Coming into this left right hander, he'll be looking to try and gain as much time as he can as he goes 1/10. He goes a second quicker and purple in sector 1. Coming now onto this back straight, going out onto one of the straights. Mint Kestrel is fully burning. Oh, nice and smooth, barely not invalidating his lap time. Still that full burn. As JVKP goes to a 109.7, he'll be looking to improve on that massively. This PB is over a second quicker than that. Mint Kestrel getting that power down now, out of that hairpin. Full burning that ERS up into 7th gear. Activating that DRS up into 8th gear. How quick will he be trying to take this chicane? Because the more you risk, the more likely you are to invalidate. Braking now all the way down to 4th gear. Nice and smooth, full put the power down. His pool does a 109.9, his Mindmaster does a 109.8. Improving again. As Mint Kestrel does a 109.2. That's absolutely brilliant. From the Mercedes drivers, that's a very nice bank lap from him. As he goes almost an entire 10th quicker than his teammate Epic the Animal. These Mercedes drivers are definitely looking very quick this season. As Hyper Ghost says a 109.7. It's a very nice lap from him. But one person I know will be annoyed with his lap time is JVKP. He'll be looking to improve on that a lot, especially with the setup he has that is mainly fit for those straight lines. He'll be looking to improve on that a lot, as I think he is letting his teammate just go flying through. No, his teammate also breaks. JVKP comes into pits now. The only who's invalidated his lap time but is going again. Or not burning any ERS yet. Still not burning. Now full burns just before crossing the line. Braking as Samad goes a 109 dead. Samad's first lap is absolutely brilliant. Only 1/10 away from the F2 pole. How will these drivers compare to them? Because right now, no driver has beaten that F2 pole time. Let's see how they will compare to their low division. As who else? As Motu Silver is also on a lap. Let's see if Motu Silver is invalidated. Gagley on a lap. Coming in, is just taking the turns 3 and 4. Goes purple sector 1. It's like every single minute these drivers are improving on that sector 1. You need so much grip, and as the track warms up and gains more rubber, you have that extra grip that will help you get that purple sector 1. Going through the right, left, going just before the straight before the hairpin. Absolutely very nice. As Fantafox is invalidated. The only is invalidated. Paul Fern is also on a lap. We're going to watch Paul Fern just before Gagley, as he is ahead on track. Full burning now, Paul Fern. He'll be hoping not to be last on track right now. Activating that DRS. Going into 8th gear. Maxing out those RPMs in that half. Trying to take it nice and smooth through the chicane. Bit slow compared to other drivers. that's not very bad, as he does a 111.4, as Gagley does a 109.2. That's an absolutely brilliant lap from the Alpine driver, as there are still only 4 drivers who have a step a lap. Phantom Fox, Motu Silver, who's actually on a lap right now, and the only GC who is in the pits right now after invalidating 2 of his laps. As we see Motu Silver hit that final straight right now. It'll be very crucial for him to set a good banker lap time before his final lap time at the end of qualifying. Braking now into 4th gear, nice and smooth through the chicane, already up into 5th, 6th gear, full birding that area, 7th. And he'd go, P7 from Motu Silver, 109.4. He'd be looking for massive room for improvement there. As we now, Seb on his out lap, about to start his main lap now. As Phantom Fox is actually also on a lap. Let's see his lap first. As Phantom Fox bins it, I think that's from wing damage. Phantom Fox is going to be very annoyed himself as he'll now only have one valid, he'll only have probably 1, maybe even 2 laps to get his lap time, get a fair lap time. And Seb takes pins 3 and 4 very nicely, coming into this left-right wide chicanes. Nice and smooth, taking a lot of curbs. Seb is full burning now, coming onto the straight. 8th gear now as Weeds does a 109.2, very much taking all the track he can, coming into the straight before the hairpin. That's brilliant from Seb, using every little bit of track he can. I think that is B29, getting out of the way for Seb. Seb gets purple sector 2, as Seb puts down the power now after a nice and smooth hairpin, getting a little bit of wheel spin at the end, but that's always going to be happening when you're in a very non-downforces track setup, as I'm guessing Seb is in. Seb full burning, braking into the hairpin, very nice, taking all the track he can, not getting a invalidation, coming across the line now. Seb goes faster with a 108.9. That still is not quicker than the F2 pole. This is becoming very surprising, as these F1 drivers still have not beaten the pole time. As nobody else is on a lap, Poole on an out lap. We will stay on board with him, as Weeze I think has invalidated. No, Weeze is also on a lap, but he is burning. Is he burning? No, he is not burning. He is coming into the pits, which means the only driver we have to watch right now is Poole, the McLaren driver, who had a very, very nice sprint qualifying and sprint race. Let's see how he will do compared to his competitors. As Weeze has retired, I think that's the end. He thinks that he can't improve anymore, so he has given up. Poole taking turn 1 and 2 nice and smooth, getting the power down, little to no wheel spin from the McLaren driver. Braking, throwing that car into turn 3 and 4, barely not getting a validation. That's very lucky for him, very, very nice. He brakes smoothly into turns, into the left right hander, coming onto us right now, full burning ERS. Coming now into this storm, very sharp right hander, almost trying as much track as he can, is not able to though. It's coming into the hairpin now. Poole's going to get the car stopped, trying to regain as much ERS as he can before he burns it all down this main straight. Gets the power down in 3rd gear into 4th, full burning. Now about to activate the ERS. Oh. Goes flying through. As you can see, most drivers are going out on their out laps. Poole now coming into that chicane, trying not to invalidate, but he does. Poole is still going to finish his lap, see where he can compare, but that's going to be very annoying, as he gets a 109.2. That would have set him into P6. Poole is going to be very annoyed at himself with that lap time, and he's going to hope he can improve. Epic the Animal and Mint Kestrel. Mint Kestrel's gone 2 tenths quicker now. Both Mercedes drivers are improving on their lap times. Mint Kestrel now throwing the car into the hairpin, trying to get as much speed out as he can. Epic the Animal definitely not on the hopper. He is 4 tenths down, saving his ERS. Mint Kestrel though, on the other hand, might be full pushing. Still definitely is that. I think that's driver spun. So that was Wes who was spun, as we see Mint Kestrel cross. As Mint Kestrel validated going into the chicane. I missed it. Mint Kestrel has validated going into the chicane. Is there any other significant JVKP? Not on a lap, but on an out lap. He likes it, as he said to me, he likes it 2 out laps. So we'll have to watch him next time he crosses the line. Motu Silver also on an invalidated lap. There is a lot going on here. as Varga starts his final flying lap. This is brilliant, nice and smooth, throwing that Red Bull into each corner. As Hyperghost is also on his lap. Mindmaster also starting his lap. As jump on forward with Varga, just to see how well he will do. Epic, the animal, also starting his lap. As there is yellow flag just for some drivers letting others by. Varga, almost the exact same sector one time as he's previously had, is going to want to be improving as he sees that red delta on his screen. Varga now coming into this right left-hander, throwing the car in, almost getting an invalidation, taking all the curb before just missing the grass. Coming into this hairpin now, as Poole lets, I think that's Poole or is that Motu Silva? That's Poole, as Motu Silva letting Varga by, not trying to impede him at all. Varga is almost 2/10 down on his lap time, as Mindmaster is parked on track. Mindmaster made a mistake. That's not what he wanted to see. As Varga now coming down the final straight, will he be able to improve on his time, or will he be stuck with that 109.3? He takes the hairpin, that's the quickest I've seen so far. As that's Hyperghost. Hyperghost almost impeded Varga there, and Varga only goes up one position to P6. Hyperghost retiring on track. That'll be very risky, and he might get shouted at by the FIA. As you can see, JVKP now also on a lap. That's Mindmaster, who's just parked it. I think Mindmaster has just given up on his lap. JVKP barely quicker than his previous lap time. He will want to improve massively, as his PB is in the 108s. JVKP now flying down the back straight, activating that DRS, probably will be the quickest, hitting 216 miles an hour before coming into the chicane, not trying to invalidate, perfectly hits it, using that ERS, full burning, keeps going, gets it, and only still stays P11. Even though he improves to a 104, as Mindmaster gets disqualified. Mindmaster gets disqualified, being parked on track. He'll be starting back of the grid then. He has been disqualified. As Seb goes even faster with a 108.6. So I just saw somebody crash into the wall. It's Gagley. Gagley's on purple sector 2, a 10th quicker. Can he maybe get into that P2? As I do not think anybody will be able to improve on Seb's 108.611. Is it going to be a massive out now as Mint Castle is also retired? I don't think he can improve. Samad also on a lap. Gagley taking that final chicane perfectly. Varga also retires. Wes also in the retirements right now. Gagley only gets P3. Samad a 10th quicker. 1.6 tenths quicker in his final thing. Burning all of his ERS. Can he get anyone near to Seb? He does improve, but it's not enough. A 108.922. He's not going to be very happy. His B29 also retired. David KP getting very annoyed with himself. Phantom Fox on invalidation. The only GC has still not set a lap time. He starts driving backwards. He's looking to get disqualified. Yeah, disqualified. He'll be back of the track. As the only GC will also be disqualified and will be put to the back of the pack. This debut is not going very well for this new V-Carb driver. He's been very annoyed, and I think it'd be a good idea to keep an eye on him just in case he tries to take another driver out, like Imad did in Circuit of the Americas. We now wait for these drivers to just go into the pits and get picked up. This is now definitely a race we need to be looking at, as some contenders that we thought would be quick, like B20, like JVKP, like Poole, like Mint Castle, all drivers we thought would be in that top 4, top 3 in qualifying, have not improved, have not done as well as they thought they would. That's a very, very interesting qualifying in my opinion, as we've seen drivers who, one, I have either never seen before, or drivers which in COTA and in tracks before had not had the best of qualifying. So they have definitely put this practice in for this Canadian Grand Prix. As we now load in where all the drivers can make their changes to setups, can make those setup decisions to see what they will do And right now, it looks like everybody's on hards, but that will be changing. As most drivers were thinking about our one-stop, I've heard some thinking about the two. I don't think a two-stop is the best idea. I don't think the one-stop's the best idea, in my opinion, sorry. I feel like your tyres will be bent up so much where you will not have the grip at the end of the race to keep up. As we go through our grid now, we've got Seb, Samad, Gagly, Motu Wheeze, Mint Kestrel, Varga, Epic, Wes, B29, JVKP, Kizzy, Hyperghost, Phantom Fox, Pool, CJ, Paul Fern, My Master, and the only EGC at the back. As the only driver to go on to medium side. Oh no, Epic the Animal, Hyperghost, CJ, Wheeze, and I think that's it. They're all drivers on mediums so far. No, as everybody starts switching mediums. Oh, the OGC also went on to mediums. Phantom Fox, Kizzy, JVKP also went on mediums. Varga. Anybody else? As we go to, as Seb's also on mediums, we go to 5 red lights. And this is lights out and away we go to the free race of as Motorsoft gets a much better start over Seb, as Seb has got that leaderboard glitch. He's in P2, there you go, there it fixes. As Paul Finn's been spun, Wes is also off the track. The only GC really making a few positions, Kizzy being forced off wide. As that is CJ being spun. CJ's been taken out a little bit. Still gets to move past My Master. The only GC being forced off a bit by Kizzy. The only GC trying to look for that move around the outside now. As JVKP makes the move past B29. B29 still trying to fight his way back against him. As JVKP does get the move finally back. As Kizzy, as the only GC and Kizzy make the move past Phantom Fox. As JVKP sends it down the inside of Epic the Animal. Epic the Animal will be very annoyed at that. As Pool also gets past Phantom Fox. Not a good races right now. We've got Wes, one of these championship leaders, at the back of the grid. As JVKP, Epic the Animal's at the back. This is massive calamity at the hairpin. The only GC now making the move past Epic the Animal, trying to give him as much space as he can. B29 now looking for that move past Hyperghost, as Kizzy even makes it past Epic the Animal. The only GC makes past B29, looking for Hyperghost. I think someone made contact there or something. As B29, as we now have our grid after the first lap. Oh no, I lie. Wheeze is looking for that move past Gagly. Yo, Wheeze being shoved off track. Gagly and Wheeze contact. They're both going very far behind. Motu Mint Kestrel, Jade and both gotten past, and now they've both got damage to leave them in JVKP. As Hypercoach has already got a 3-second time penalty. The only GC dropping back. I think he's been taken out. I think the only GC has given up. What has gone on with him? He has just gone all the way back as Wes has already pit. As Wheeze and Gagly made contact, they now both have wing damage, which means JVKP is already looking for the move past Wheeze. The RB driver not having the best qualifiers, trying to make up for it now in the race. And JVKP on those really low wings that I know he is on. He's going to be hot. It's the only GC gets a second penalty. He gets a 3-second penalty. The only GC has given up and I think, will be to try and take somebody out. This is not what we want to be seeing. This is not the dirty type of racing I don't want to be seeing. Nobody wants to be seeing in TFR. As the only GC is around 2 seconds behind Paul Fern. As Varga makes a move past Mint Kestrel into P3. Mint Kestrel having a very nice line as Seb. It's already put a 1.5 second gap as Hyperghost as Weezer's pit all the way into this pit now. As the only GC gets another 10-second penalty as he has retired. The only GC has not had a nice race and he's already left. He pretty much just quit immediately. As JVGP is going to be looking to try and get past Gagly, who he thinks has wing damage. And Gagly is very much staying with Motu Silva. This is a very close race as Gagly does have front end plate damage. I think that is only it. But that will still give JVKP that pace advantage as Kizzy will have DRS on Hyperghost. DRS has been enabled this lap. As CJ is just trying to hold his position for P14. As Mint Kestrel is getting very close to Varga now. Within 2/10, Mint Kestrel will not be looking for the move. He'll probably try and get that move done down the straight as B29 makes the move past Kizzy going into the hairpin. Now, can JVKP use that lower wing that he's got compared to the rest of the drivers on this straight to try and maybe make the move past Gagly? 5/10. 3/10. Mint Kestrel makes the move past Varga. Varga didn't have DRS. He was pretty much helpless there. As B29 makes the move past Hyperghost as well. As JVKP is now 4/10 between him and JVKP and Gagly. CJ gets a 3-second time penalty. We've already got 2 drivers with 3-second time penalties now. Already 4 laps in. As Gagly even with the damage, is trying to make that move past Motusilva. Motusilva trying to stay in that DRS range of Varga, as Mint Kestrel is trying to catch up to Samad and Seb in front. Let's have a look at these position changes so far, as Mint Kestrel and Varga both going up 3 positions. As JVKP loses it, that is wing damage for JVKP. JVKP has got a red wing. That is, he's lost part of his wing. As now drives to try overtaking the epic animal. Maybe even Pool will not try and have a look. It's JVKP more. You can tell how much that has damaged him. JVKP has lost an entire part of his front wing. That he's not going to be very happy with himself, as he's lost that entirely by himself. As Pool sends it down the inside. Both drivers leaving each other with space. JVKP with that straight line speed will be able to keep his position, but he will be definitely pitting this lap, so he does not lose as much time in it, as Kizzy makes the move past Hyperghost. The man already with a 3-second time penalty is not doing very well, as he loses the race, smacks into the World Champions. That's not because JVKP stays out. Oh, he's only lost a front air plate. JVKP only lost a front end plate with that spin. Definitely looked worse than it actually was, as Kizzy goes deep, catching the grass and trying to leave everybody space so he doesn't rejoin unsafely. Still rejoins right next to Hyperghost, as JVKP gets a brilliant run but is unable to get past it. There are 2 drivers there. Hyperghost loses it a bit on the in turn 3 and 4. JVKP gets so much better exit than Kizzy. He's going to try and take it around the outside. JVKP sends it down the inside. Ooh, too wide, coming down to the left right chicane. Kizzy and JVKP make a bit of contact. Nothing bad, as Phantom Fox loses the race. No, Phantom Fox loses the race, so does Pool. Pool loses it a lot more than Phantom Fox. JVKP gets that move done past Kizzy. He's able to hold position. Now he's going to be trying to catch up to Hyperghost so he can get that DRS from him. Motusilva now on the diffuser of Varga. Varga again without DRS as Pool makes the move past Phantom Fox. Motusilva will make that move down very easily past Varga, coming just before the chicane. Now Motusilva will be pushing, as JVKP also makes past Hyperghost. Kizzy also makes past Hyperghost. Seb has left. I think Seb is disconnected. Seb has left the race, as Hyperghost goes into the pits. Hyperghost is retired, and I hope Seb has me added. Seb has not added me. Seb, that might not be good for Seb, as he is as Samad is ready within that second gap. We'll have that DRS on Seb's AI. Hyperghost is also left. He is DNF'd, as JVKP is trying to catch up, even with that wing damage, as Kitty's right on his diffuser. Pool also right behind them, with Phantom Fox, Mint Kestrel and Seadray. Not Mint Kestrel, Mindmaster, not that far behind them. Paul Fern, even though with his bad qualifying, is not doing bad compared to the rest of the drivers, with Seb being overtaken now by Samad and Mint Kestrel also getting that move done. Seb is already down into P3. That is not very good. That is not what Seb wants to happen to him. I think as Pool is right neck and neck with JVKP. With JVKP having that straight line speed, but Pool having that direct. JVKP takes the inside line, backs out of it, and lets Pool go through. As Kizzy also tries to make a look past JVKP. I'm sorry, I'm not able to commentate at the once. I'm trying to get Seb back in. As now Phantom Fox is right on that fuse of JVKP and Mindmaster, both the Ferrari and Alpha drivers trying to make a move past. Trying to get past that Red Bull driver as Phantom Fox loses the rear a bit. As again, as Gagley is already caught up to Seb. Seb's AI will not. Alright, here we go. Gagley already with that 5 times of Seb's AI. B29 within touching distance of Varga. Varga will not have DRS, I do not think, even though he was very close to Gagley on this lap. Have a look at this Red Bull, see if he opens. As Mint Kestrel makes the move past Samad on the straight. Absolutely brilliant. As Phantom Fox, as JVKP spun it. JVKP's lost. I think JVKP made contact with CJ as they have both lost positions. JVKP, as Weeze is now going to try and make the double move past Paul Fern and JVKP. JVKP squeezing Weeze, not giving him any breathing room. Both have DRS, both are full burning. Weeze will back off behind JVKP. No, he won't. Oh, yes, he will. Trying to make not move past as CJ gets a 3-second penalty. JVKP gets a 10-second penalty. I think that is a retirement from JVKP. Or not. I think, is JVKP boxing for a new wing or is he retiring? JVKP is just boxing for a new wing. I thought it'd be a retirement from the V-Carb there today. B29 is right on that diffuser of Varga. It's Epic the Animal. Seb's AI has dropped all the way down to 7th. After Seb having a very comfortable 2-second gap against Samad. He's now dropped all the way down to P7. And as Seb said earlier, he has given up. His B29 has made the move past Varga. But I think it was preemptive. Because Varga, I believe, will have DRS as there is a yellow flag. If that's Paul Fern. Paul Fern is backwards. He is spun. And I think that is big wing damage for Paul Fern as I can no longer switch camera angles. Yes, I can. I cannot switch on Paul Fern. Paul Fern has lost both end plates of his car, which means Wes will have that easy move past him as Weez gets that power down past CJ. CJ really trying to hold on to that points position, at least a points position, so we can do whatever his team is. Samad is still within that second of Mink Kestrel. He'll be trying to pressure his Phantom Fox, has jumped into the pits now as Epic Animal also gets past Seb AI. Weez from that early pit stop is now into P12. B29 within 4/10 now. Oh, geez, sorry. Is within 5/10 of Gagley, and we'll try and make a move back on him as JVKP gets a 3-second penalty. I think JVKP has given up with this race with, I think that is 16 seconds of the penalties. Yeah, no, 13 seconds of the penalties. Only 2 drivers with penalties right now. CJ with his 6 seconds and JVKP with 13. He is definitely not going to be happy right now with what has happened to him. JVKP lost 6 positions, but one of the best drives so far is from Mink Kestrel from P6 to P1 and has pulled that second gap on Samad, so Samad will not have DRS. As B29 is trying to make that move past Gagley, B29 loses his rear. B29 is also trying to do a monster drive already from P10 as Varga jumps into the pit. There is another yellow flag. I think that's Paul Fern. Paul Fern has spun again. As this is not what he wants to see. His Mind Master as Varga also in the pits. Kizzy also in the pits. Pool up 7 positions already. Seb, the man who started on pole 3, that is now down into P8. As B29 is also trying to do a monster drive just like Mink Kestrel is. CJ choosing not to box. As the only drivers to stop right now are Weez, Varga, Phantom, Kizzy, and Wes. As Varga already gets right past CJ on those new hard tires. CJ just trying to hold on and not put any battle to save his side. As Paul Fern gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I think Paul Fern might be retiring, but again, I said that about JVKP, and he is still racing. He hopes, even with 13 seconds penalties. B29 within 3/10 now of Gagley. Gagley trying not to even lose more positions as he qualified P3. As yes, Paul Fern did retire, as I've just seen on my map there. Ooh, B29 tries to make the move fast. We'll look for the better exit as he gets the much better exit compared to Gagley. With that DRS no down, Gagley's going to try and close him down. That's his one defensive move. B29 just switches on the other side as Poole gets it. Oh, maybe gets a 3-second penalty as Seb's AI has gone into the pits. Seb has not done very well here. It's also Mind Master is also in the pits. The only Ferrari driver in this race is now into the pits. At least he will not be able to complain about congested pit stops as he is serving his 10-second. No, he has not. I'm sorry. TJ also on the pit, switching onto those hard compound tires. JVKP will get past CJ and maybe even Mind Master if he is quick enough through turn 1 and 2. But no, Mind Master is able to come out ahead of JVKP. JVKP is on 1 more tire as Gagley gets a 3-second time penalty. The man who qualified P3 and trying to push back against B29 as B29 made the move past has now got a 3-second time penalty for a yellow flag again. And I think that is Wes and JVKP making contact. JVKP's race has not been the best for him, and now with that contact, I don't think it'll be any better for him. Gagley is actually losing time to B29 on the straight. B29 must have very low wings as he's pulling very much against Gagley on these straights when he is full burning. Now, the only drivers on those medium compound tires are Epic the Animal and Wes. those mediums will be starting to fall off massively by now, especially for Epic Animal, who is on 11 laps of them, who's been on them for 11 laps. The top 7 still have not pit yet, as everybody else has. This Kizzy also gets a 3-second time penalty. This William pair have not been very lucky today, as Kizzy tries to make a push to Phantom Fox, trying to get the move past him. That is not what he wanted to see. Gagley now catching very much to B29. He'd be looking for a good exit through here to try and get that run on into the hairpin. Not the best of exits, as he's dropped down to 5/10 down the gap. Still, Gagley trying to get the car stopped. Ooh, goes a bit deep there. As there's yellow flags again. I think that is Wes. Yeah, Wes has spun. I think that is wing damage. Yeah, that is both front end plates gone for Wes, as CJ goes flying past. I think this will be the end of the race for Wes, as the second time he will probably pit again, as that is the second time he has wing damage. As B29 comes into the pit, B29 says, I'm done with these hards. These hards can go away. I want new tyres. As still the top 6 the top 6 still are on old tyres, and Epic the Animal will definitely be complaining about some blistering and some bad wear from now on, as B29 emerges in P9 with a good little gap against Phantom Fox. That is a nice pit for B29. Now, can he take that extra grip he's got on those tyres to get past, as JVKP makes the move past Seb's AI. Nice and smoothly. JVKP will looking just to scrape a few points from this race, but he will need to be able to he'll need to be able to hope that another driver does DNF and give up, as Wes has not boxed yet to replace both front end plates that he has lost on his wing. He thinks they are suffice and he can drive, but as you can see by the delta, he's already losing time to CJ. As he spins, Wes spins, and that is his full front wing gone. Wes spins on turn 3 and 4, and that is his full front wing gone. I think that's a VSC or a safety car. I cannot tell you which one at this moment, I apologise. As I believe it is a safety car, and Gagley's able to pit, but the front 3 aren't. It came out just a bit too late, and they were not able to react in time, as Epic the Animal, who was praying for something like this to happen, has now happened, and is now able to easily get off those very, very badly worn medium tyres, as Gagley goes on to mediums, Epic the Animal goes on to brand new hards. Wheeze takes is now in 4th position, Varga up to 4th, Epic, B29 up to 6th. That pit stop was not the best for him, as he pit just the lap earlier, but he is still up to P6 and not that far behind the front 3, who will still probably pit during the safety car, as it is a free pit stop and their tyres will be old. Kizzy emerges ahead of Poole, but I think Poole will get the jump on him. Who will come out ahead? I think Poole just gets it. Yeah, Poole just gets ahead of Kizzy on the exit pit. That was a massive battle there, as Phantom Fox is leaving the pits now. Kizzy gets a 3-second time penalty, another one for cutting the corner. I'm guessing he tried making the move past Poole, thinking that position was his, and was not able to. As Phantom Fox gets a 3-second time penalty during the safety car. JVKP pits for soft. That is very surprising from that RB driver. Wes is gone for everything. He's gotten rid of any time penalties he had, and he's gone for a new front wing plus those hard tyres. Mint Kestrel, who's overtaking the safety cars to go into the pits. Samad also in the pits. Motu Silva also in the pits. The top 3 are now going to hope they don't lose too much time due to them not being able to pit at the very start of the safety car. Motu Silva putting on mediums. Mint Kestrel putting on mediums. Samad putting on mediums, as Wes gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Wait, no. Wait, that's not speeding in the pit lane. What was it? Wes gets a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. That's very surprising from the Williams driver, as Varga takes pole position as the front 3 drop down into 4th, 5th and 6th. Mint Kestrel only lost 3 positions and is now on fresh mediums compared to B29 on 2-lap old mediums, Wheeze on those 12-lap old hards, and Varga on 5-lap old hards. Mint Kestrel, Samad and Motu Silva will be looking to make that move. Those moves past that front 3, as they are on older tyres and slower tyres. Gagley, if we look at the positional changes so far, we've got Varga, who's up 6, Wheeze, who's up 3, B29 up 7, Mint Kestrel up 2, Samad down 3, Motu Silva down 2, Epic the Animal up 1, Gagley down 5, Pool up 6, Kizzy up 2, Mindmaster up 7, Seb down 11, but that is because his AI is controlling him. Phantom Fox up 1, CJ up 1, Wedge down 6, and JVKP down 5 as he's in the pits. JVKP is boxed. I think he did not mean to put on those soft compound tyres as he's gone for hard. I do not think this safety car will restart with him in the pack, as JVKP will have a mountain to climb if he wants to have any chance of getting back into this race. This has definitely not been a good race for JVKP with those 13 seconds of time penalties. The man whose personal best around Canada was during qualifying was a 108.6. That would have put him in second place in qualifying. Imagine how much better he would have done if he qualified second instead of 11th. That would have been so much better for him, as he probably would not have been in the middle of that in the middle of those lap 1 incidents, and he would have been able to pull away and maybe even overtake Seb on that start, because Seb's start was not the best, as Samad was able to almost get the jump on him, but the problem was Samad backed out because he did not think he'd be able to make the move done, which I think he is not regretting now, as Seb has disconnected. But I think the problem with Seb is that Seb is complaining that whenever he gets in range of getting a win or a podium or anything good, he is losing, because he is doing bad, as Mindmaster just tried overtaking Seb's AI. Mindmaster trying to do some little cheeky tricks here during the safety car, trying to manipulate the AI so they let him through. Because Mindmaster does not want to be held up, because I have learned in my F3 race that when someone is an AI, they are a lot slower on the restart compared to their opponents who will get the jump on you. Varga, who takes the safety car restart now, waiting to jump, now goes full burns. Absolutely nice, brilliant restart from Varga. He's just barely getting his B29 is down the inside. B29 looks down the inside, is unable to. Mint Kestrel, Samad, and Motu Silva all looking for this move through. B29 gets a much better exit than Wheeze. Wheeze was able to keep it up by full burning. B29 is not trying to use any ERS. Still trying to make the look past Wheeze, who's on 14 lap old hards. Yet, even though some of these laps were on the safety car, those tyres will be starting to degrade. As you can see, Wheeze is not able to get the car stopped in time. Right in the curve, makes a bit of contact with B29 as Mint Kestrel gets past 2 at once. Mint Kestrel up into P2 in those new medium tyres. As Samad is also, Pool is already dropped back far. As Samad is also going to try and replicate what Mint Kestrel has just done if he wants to try and be in contention for that win. B29 now looking for a move down the inside of Wheeze. Gagley making move past it. Oh, making move past Epic the Animal, but makes contact with Motu Silva as pulled all the way down into P9. Epic the Animal on those new medium tyres will look as Samad is able to get past Wheeze, and now looking to move past B29, going down into chicane. Samad backs out. That's a warning for Samad. Samad's going to be very careful now, as he might be on 2, or it might be his first warning. DRS now enabled. Epic the Animal looking for a move by Pool, but it's unable to. Kizzy trying to make that look past Epic the Animal, was unable to. Mindmaster, as if Seb still in his AI, it's JVKP 12 seconds behind. Samad gets a 3-second time penalty. I just warned that he might be on his second warning, and that is his 3-second time penalty. There goes Samad's chance of getting that win, as long as Mint Kestrel is able to keep his cleanness and not get a single time penalty. As Mint Kestrel now tries to make a look past Varga, ooh, backs out just before going in. Epic Mint Kestrel will be looking to make that move down in, maybe even in the hairpin or on the straight. He'll be looking to make that move on the straight, as he's trying to get a much better racer than Varga. As Samad sends it on the inside of B29. B29 doesn't have the grip to compete with those medium tyres. As Samad now puts down his power, opens DRS, and now can try and catch up to the front two as Mint Kestrel gets the move past Varga. Varga backs out just before the chicane and is able to get the move done, as I think that's somebody going into the pits. Did I not see? Yeah, that's somebody going to the pits. That is Wheeze, and his 15 lap old hard is now in the pits. Gagli sends it down the inside of Motu squeezes them out just a bit, but gives enough space. Motu makes contact, sends Gagli, and that leaves Poole to maybe even trying to make a move from his teammates, smacking the Alpine, going too wide. Oh, barely getting it done. Gagli barely able to keep play, loses the radar as Motu will be screamed at a bit by Gagli for being a little bit dirty with that contact there. As Poole sends it down the inside of Gagli, get that move done. Epic Animal's going to try and replicate what Poole did. Round the outside, gets moved done, full bending ARS, and now Phantom Fox also gets past Gagli. Even on these new mediums, Gagli does not have the base to compete. Gagli down the inside, Poole gets a 3-second time penalty. That's not what he wants to be seeing. That's not what he wants to be seeing in this race today. As Samad is also within a second of Varga trying to make the move done. He's not burning the ERS, he's not burning the ERS. Samad is hoping that as Epic Animal gets to move past Poole on the straight. Gagli going from P5 all the way down to P9 in one lap. If there's yellow flags, I think that's no, that's not JVKP. Yellow flags. Where are the yellow flags? As Varga is actually able to keep the place against Samad. Absolutely brilliant from him. B29 lurking in the shadows, looking at the move. Varga definitely will be losing and dropping off that pace now with those 10-lap old hard compound tyres. You can see now, not even within a second of Mint Kestrel anymore. Mint Kestrel will be hoping that Varga will hold up Samad so he can pull that gap. As you can see, Varga not having that DRS while Samad does. Samad will definitely be looking to make a move past onto this straight coming up. JVKP also, JVKP, I feel very sorry for him. Had a very unlucky race. Still with 16 laps to go. There is still a chance he can make something done as Samad sends it down. Varga's inside during the hairpin. Samad gets the power down by who will have that DRS. It is not Varga. Samad will have that DRS, and look at him just pulling away from Varga. That Rebel cannot do anything as B29 is now right up the diffuser of Samad. Not Samad, Varga. B29 looking for that brilliant exit as Varga loses his rear. B29 full burning, maybe looking to try and make that move down the inside. He is, no he's not, backs out, trying just to scare Varga a bit, and it does. Varga does not have a good first corner, which leads to B29 get a much better exit. Right at the diffuser now, B29 will be hoping to save that ERS so he can make that move done onto one of the next straights. TJ now within touching distance of Kizzy. The Aston Martin driver has not been having the best races recently in TFR, but as the rumours going around that saying that he should be demoted into F2, he is trying to prove those wrong. As Weeze gets a 3-second time penalty, the Salva gets a 3-second going into about turns 3 and 4, sorry. Anyway, back onto TJ, the Aston driver who people have said should be going down into F2 is showing that he is quicker than some of these drivers, and that he should not be getting put down into F2. Anything else? B29 still looking to try and make the move past Varga, both on old hard compound tyres. They will, but everybody will still be making one more pit stop in this race, no matter what tyre compound you are on right this second. As there is no moves coming out, as B29 just trying to send it around the outside of Varga. I'm sorry I missed that. B29 trying to get that better exit now as CJ makes move past Kizzy down into turn 1. Kizzy trying to make that move down around the outside as Weeze retires. I think Weeze has gone into the bits and retires. B29 gets a 3-second time penalty. The Aston Martin driver will be very annoyed with himself as that goes I think that his chance of a podium gone as he makes the move. Right, he's trying to make the move past Varga into the straight, full burning his DRS. I don't think that's the right play as Varga will have that DRS going into the main straight. But if B29 trusts himself, he will make it done. As Motu Silva, right on the back of this battle, will be looking to try and make a move through down the inside. Motu Silva looks, doesn't do it. Tries to get the better exit compared to Varga. Not a good exit by Motu Silva though. Not as Motu Silva does try and full burn that ERS. As Nine Master has that DRS over Gagli. Gagli dropping down another position to P10. The man who was P5 as Varga gets a 3-second penalty. Varga gets 3 seconds. Oh my days. Gagli also a time penalty. This is not going well for these drivers in TFR eSports F1 as B29 gets to move past Varga. Varga loses his rear there. Varga which means B29's hopes for a podium are still on. Actually, no, they are not, as Motu Silva is actually just behind. I've completely forgotten about Motu Silva and Epic Animal and Pool and Phantom Fox are all within range of that podium, of the leader of Mint Kestrel. Mint Kestrel, who is keeping about a second gap to Samad behind, knows he still needs to pit, but he's going to try and stretch these medium tyres as long as he can, as Varga on those 13-lap-old hard compound tyres being pressured by Pool as he takes a bit of a corner cutting maneuver there. As Epic Animal is also starting to gain on Motu Silva. Now, Varga will be probably boxing somewhat soon, probably on those 13-lap-old hards. They will not be the best, especially in these conditions now, being pressured by medium runners and driving on a lot better tyres. As Varga is trying to burn. Motu Silva makes a dummy move, trying to scare Varga a bit. He loses his rear going a bit. Pool gets another 3-second time penalty. Pool hits the wall, gets another 3-second time penalty. As he hits the wall again, Pool is just glued to these walls. There's nobody wants. As Wes gets a 3-second time penalty, Phantom Fox right up the diffuser of Pool, trying to make the move past the Alpine, trying to make that move past the McLaren driver. As he backs off coming out of turn 2, as Pool loses it going to turn 3 4, makes a bit of contact. That is nobody at fault there. Pool loses his rear, which leads to his front end sticking out. Kizzy gets another 3-second time penalty. Kizzy trying to put that pressure on CJ. Let's have a look at these penalties right now. As we have Samad, B29, Varga, Epic the Animal, CJ loses his rear. CJ loses it, which is going to leave Kizzy to go flying through past the Aston Martin driver. Wes as well makes the move past, as JVKP's only got 3 seconds for the penalties. He boxed got rid of his 10 seconds. That might be good for this V-car driver. As well, anyway, we go through these time penalties. You have as we have JVKP, Phantom Fox, Epic the Animal, Varga, B29 and Samad all on 3-second time penalties. Epic the Animal makes the move past as Motu Silva jumps, dives into pits. Pool's DNF. Pool smacked into the wall. I think that is a safety car, and that is bad news for Motu. I think that's very nice for Motu Silva as Wes gets a drive through for speeding under the safety car. I must have crossed into the pits as his delta was still high. This has been a very, very eventful game race as Kizzy's being held up by Wes as CJ makes the move past both of them. JVKP is speeding past these opposition drivers now, hopefully trying to make it past CJ. CJ now leaving the pits now. It's going to be a massive run. CJ gets it past, stays in front of JVKP, even though JVKP was not in the pits at all. As they go lapping, as they go in front of the safety car, Mint Kestrel and Samad, B29 will all be looking to pit. Everybody will be looking to pit. JVKP on those 10-lap-old hards. I do not know what he's doing and why he has not pit, but it definitely will be surprising to see what he will do. Very surprising move there from Epic Animal, not deciding not to pit. And even though we are on Mint Kestrel on those new hard compound tyres now, those will last until the end of the race. And that probably will be the deciding, as Samad is on the mediums. Definitely a different change between this Mercedes and Haas driver. Very surprising to see Mint Kestrel on those hards, as I in my opinion, mediums will be better, because by the time the safety car goes in, you will be in that range where the mediums will not die off. The other people who have not boxed yet are JVKP and Epic Animal. I am questioning what JVKP will be doing, as he is very, very far behind the rest of the group, as CJ is doing a bit of little bit of funny tactics there just before we crossed into lap 26, as he was going very slow on the straight, even though his delta was definitely positive. Some very cheeky tactics from the Aston Martin driver, trying to give his teammate even more of an advantage, as B29 is alongside Varga, and then backs off trying. I think B29 is doing a bit of a mess around there, not trying to actually make a move past. As Seb, I've got breaking news now from Seb, the man who was at the start of this race leading the World Driver Championship of TFR eSports F1, has said there is no point in him racing anymore if his PlayStation is just not going to help him. Seb has recently had problems with his PlayStation. That is why he missed the Circuit of Americas, due to his PlayStation being repaired. But I'm guessing those repairs were not good enough, as he has still decided to quit. And I think that is Seb done for a good amount of time in TFR unless he gets a new PlayStation. As I'm being asked to show pens, I will quickly show pens right there for you guys. As we have Wes with a drive-through. We have two drivers with 9 seconds worth of penalties, which are CJ and Kizzy. Wes, I think, 13 seconds worth of penalties, if I'm not mistaken. JVKP with 3 seconds, Gagley with 6, Phantom Fox, B29, and Varga with 3. Samad on 3, and also Epic the Animal on 3. This is absolutely Epic the Animal. The safety car is in this lap. Epic the Animal, who is on old, hard compound tyres, this may be a bit of tactics from this Mercedes team, as I'm guessing Epic the Animal will let his Mercedes teammate of Mint Kestrel through, but will try his best to hold up the drivers behind, who will also be trying to make a look past, as Wes has just been overtaken by Seb's AI. What's going on there? I think Wes still has a drive-through penalty, which he still has to serve by the end of this race, as Epic the Animal bunches the pack up. If you have a look now, look how bunched up this pack is. Very close as if we now go on board with Epic the Animal, activate his telemetry to see how and when he goes for his restart. It's still not going. Ooh, almost touches the grass, almost hits the wall. Going straight, full burns. That's it. As Mint Kestrel does not get a good start, which leads Samad to make that move. Trying to make that move around the outside. Oh, very nice on the brakes from Samad. As Mint Kestrel still tries to keep around the side, Epic the Animal locks up. As Phantom Fox makes it past My Master. Samad making that move past Mint Kestrel, as Varga gets that move past B29, as Mint Kestrel is now going to be full pushing. Look at that now, trying to go around the side. JVKP gets another 3-second time penalty. Varga making that move past Motorsilver. Gagley making the move past Phantom Fox, as Varga is able to confirm that move past Motorsilver. Mint Kestrel now trying to make that move past Samad, as I have no idea what Epic the Animal is thinking on those 14 lap old hards. What is he doing? As Phantom Fox gets another 3-second time penalty. These Alpine drivers have not been very lucky with time penalties today in this race, as Samad tries to send down the inside of Epic the Animal. Epic the Animal locks up, he backs off of that. No, he doesn't. Stays in there, full burn overtake. Epic the Animal will try and out-drag Samad coming in to this final chicane. Less than a 10 separate them, but Samad has that lower wings, and Epic the Animal has backed off. Mint Kestrel also gets past. I did not see that. Epic the Animal still stays there. Motu Silver, oh, makes big contact with Varga. Varga is off track, and Varga DNFs. Varga's hit the wall. Varga is DNF. Varga is out of the race. That is a virtual safety car. That is not what Varga wanted at the end of this race. Varga gets forced off track, and then tries taking the right way off track and trying to rejoin safely, but clips the wall, as Wes is able to make that move past JVKP just before that restart, as Seb's AI again is just at the very back. This has not been a good race for Seb. What is Epic the Animal going to do on this VSC restart? Because if he does not have a good restart, he's going to be in the hands of Motorsilver, of B29, of Mindmaster, who's already now in P6. This is going to be a very, very risky restart for Epic the Animal if he does not time it perfectly on those 15 lap old hards. CJ gets a 10-second time penalty for collision with Phantom Fox. I'm guessing Phantom Fox had very low delta and has collided. As we go green flag racing. as My Master sends down the inside of B29, gets the move done. TJ sends down the inside of Phantom Fox. B29 has the better exit compared to My Master. DRS open now, both of them. Full bending, My Master, who has the lower wings. It looks like it's B29 catching up to Motu Silver. Motu Silver tries to defend both of them. Is able to. As My Master backs out. Oh, B29 makes a bit of contact with Motu Silver. Motu Silver trying to keep that position against B29. Epic Animal did get a good restart. It's now going to trying to hold back the rest of the grid while letting his teammate go through. His Phantom Fox drops down to P10 now with Kizzy. No, Phantom Fox gets the better exit compared to Kizzy. No, he doesn't. It's too wide now coming into this right left-hander. Will there be clean? It will be clean as Kizzy goes a bit off track, but that is fine. As Phantom Fox drops down behind Wes as well. As Gagley makes the move past My Master is spun. That's B29. B29 is spun. B29 now dropped all the way down on P7. My Master with no penalties up into P5 as JVKP makes the move past Gagley. The Canadian has not had the best of races, but he's trying to make the most of it in P11 right now. No matter where he finishes, he's still guaranteed points as the Williams spot places as Wes sends it down the inside of B29. Ooh, bit risky there, but gets the better exit. As Gagley, JVKP too wide. JVKP does not get the better exit, which leads to, but luckily enough for JVKP, he has those 0 wings on the rear, getting that move past as Wes gets the move past B29, but he goes into the pit. Wes must have damage. Mint Kestrel, fastest lap of the race on those hard tyres. That's absolutely brilliant as Samad is now going to try and hold against Mint Kestrel's Epic Animal now on 17 lap old hards. Still trying to keep his pace as Phantom Fox is spun. Phantom Fox is spun, I think. He lost the rear there a bit. It's dropped all the way down to P9. CJ, what a brilliant thing from him. CJ all the way up to P6 now. JVKP on those 16 lap old hards. Now in P10 with Kizzy, with both Williams and Seb's AI behind him. Mint Kestrel now looking for that move past Samad, coming to maybe try and make it in the hairpin. Mint Kestrel not bidding at all, but still gaining on Samad. Samad locks up his rears there. Mint Kestrel looking for that better exit, putting that power down or using that battery. Let's see how he will compare. Brilliant move pass. No chance for Samad to make that move. Try and keep that. As Mind Master makes the move past Epic the Animal. The Ferrari driver, in absence of his team, is having an absolutely brilliant race. Even without Ima D, the Ferrari team is still showing brilliant pace today. As now CJ is looking for that move past Epic the Animal. Epic the Animal is trying to negate as much damage as possible as we now go to penalties. CJ on 19 seconds worth of penalties. All of this is null and void. CJ on 19 seconds worth of penalties. Even at the end of this race, I think CJ will drop down into P13, which is still points, but is not good. As B29 will not be happy that his teammate is ahead of him, as he's complained a lot throughout the season about his teammate being slow. As Gagley is pressing on the rear of B29 now, both of them using overtake. Gagley deciding to save his ERS as Mint Kestrel is pulled a second behind Samad as one of the Williams has now got past Seb's AI. Wes still 5 seconds behind Seb's AI. Not what we want to see. It's Epic the Animal. He's maybe looking for that move past Mind Master. He has the DRS. Does he have the low enough wings? And does he have enough grip to make that move past? As Samad gets another 3-second time penalty. That pretty much guarantees Motu Silva getting that P2. Samad has had a brilliant race today, but he has been not clean enough in these track limits. As no matter where he finishes, even if he finishes ahead of Mint Kestrel at this minute, he will still be behind as B29 gets overtaken by Gagley. It's not very good. CJ pressing on the rear of Epic the Animal. CJ really trying to negate the much damage his 19 seconds worth of time penalties will do to him, but it will be a loss as he's got a 10 seconds for speeding in the pits, and then 9 track limit warnings, which equals to 9 seconds of track limit pens. Pretty much 1 warning equals 1 second, it's the easy way to put it. The 1.7 gap between B29 and Phantom Fox. B29 does not have much to worry about. He just needs to push and try and get past this Alpine driver, as he knows he will finish ahead of his teammate, but he definitely wants to finish ahead on track compared to his teammate. as there is no battles going on right now, which does give us a minute. Oh no, Kizzy is right on the road with JVKP. I lie. JVKP has a very bad exit on those very, very old hard compound tires. Using that, luckily enough, with him having 6-0 wings. CJ gets another 3-second time penalty. That is 22 seconds of time penalty for Mr. CJ, the owner of TFR eSports. That's not what you want to see, so we go to JVKP. As B29 makes the move past Gagley. Gagley still keeps trying to keep the inside, trying to squeeze B29 out. Definitely trying to put the squeeze on. Gets the exit and is able to. No, he backs out. B29 gets the move done. JVKP is able to keep. Sorry, but he's able to keep Kizzy behind him. As Epic the Animal is still trying to pressure MindMaster, even on 20 lap old hard compound tires. As penalties right now. CJ on 22 seconds, Kizzy on 9, JVKP on 6, Phantom Fox on 6, Gagley on 6, B29 on 3, Epic the Animal on 3, Savannah on 6, and Wes on 3. As Wes finally does get past Seb's AI, as Kizzy is now made the move past JVKP, but that's a very bad exit. JVKP, ooh, getting blocked a bit by Kizzy. He's made a bit of contact into the wall. Goes JVKP. JVKP wanted the inside line and forces Kizzy to leave in the space. As Kizzy tries to cut off JVKP. At least JVKP making contact. I think that is wing damage for JVKP, but it does not matter as JVKP again on those 0 wings. Watch this pace he has. Look at that, 200 miles an hour. 210, but he's not looking for the move. Even though he isn't, he's still catching significantly to the Williams behind. As he knows, even if he's as Kizzy spins! Kizzy loses his rear and spins into the wall. As Wes gets another 3-second time penalty. Kizzy is not good for him, as he's just doing donuts now. Kizzy has just given up on his race. That is not what he wants to see. As CJ is right on the diffuser of Gagley. As B29 and Gagley both make the move past on him. This is definitely not a race CJ will want to remember for, as FBML is still on the final lap of this race, pressing MindMaster for a mistake for him to get a 3-second time penalty. But this looks like a brilliant race from MindMaster as we now go to positions gained. And it is 14 positions gained for MindMaster. That is absolutely brilliant as we now go to Mint Kestrel, who is on the final straight now. As Wes, if you look in the delta, is just 1/10 behind JVKP. I will not switch to that for a good minute. As we see Mint Kestrel go burning all of that ERS he has, swerving down the back straight, and he wins the Canadian Grand Prix. As we now go to JVKP against Kizzy. Kizzy gets the better exit and has the ERS on JVKP. JVKP though has the ERS advantage as against Wes, sorry. As Kizzy spins again. Wes looking for that outside. JVKP trying to make the move done. As CJ gets another 10-second penalty. As Wes makes the move past JVKP. JVKP drops down into P11. But that will be P10 as CJ with his time penalties drops all the way back down into I think P12. Kizzy has now just given up as he knows his race is finished. As I will give you your finishing lineup now. You have Mint Kestrel winning by a brilliant 6 seconds. Then Motu Solver, Samad, MindMaster with a brilliant 14 position gains in this race. He pretty much went, after getting DSQ'd in qualifying today, going all the way up to P4 is a brilliant race from him. You've got Epic the Animal, B29, Gagley, Phantom Fox, Seb's AI, even though Seb was unavailable, still gets P9. Wes, JVKP on 21 lap old hard compound tires. CJ and Kizzy. Kizzy, you can see, is just giving up and it's just messing around for the remainder of this time as the interval is now 1 minute 30 seconds. Jesus. Please help this man. He needs... Oh, that's really mean, I'm sorry. Three things I'd like to point out is... Whoa! Oh, that is a puncture for Kizzy. Those donuts did not help him. But 3 things I'd like to point out. 1, JVKP surviving 21 laps on hard compound tires. Epic the Animal surviving 22 laps on hard compound tires. And most of all, MindMaster gaining 14 positions this race. That is absolutely brilliant. That is almost a position gained every single lap. That is an absolutely brilliant drive from the Ferrari driver. Even though MindMaster's teammate Imad is unavailable due to a race ban, he is still able to make a brilliant drive as Kizzy cries his another 3-second penalty and crosses the line backwards. Kizzy is definitely trying to just go for a bit of fun here. Crossing the line now, reverse. Kizzy with a 2-minute interval to the CJ behind. That is definitely a race we would want to remember. But some drivers definitely will not. Especially someone like CJ, who even though he had a brilliant race, is still going to finish so far behind with those 22 seconds of penalties. This race has been very eventful, and I'm very glad to be commentating this race with you guys today, as hopefully if it loads in time, I will be able to give you your final lineup with penalties. As you see them go on the podium now, we have the clean driver being Motu Silva. Motu overtakes B29. Driver of the day goes to Mindmaster as deserved. Mint Kestrel getting the race winner and the fastest lap as I go through your race winners today. Mint Kestrel winning in the race with Seb winning in the sprint. Motu Silva, Samad, Mindmaster, Epic the Animal, B29, Gagley, Phantom Fox, Seb, even in his AI, Wes, CVKP, CJ, Kizzy, Varga, Pool, Wheeze, Pulfern, Hyperghost, and the only EJC. That ends your race results, and I'm glad to be commentating for you guys today. And that is me. I'm gonna have to sign off today.